Hello, everybody. I'm super excited today for this Rzain Society podcast. I'm with Pauline Berger, someone I met actually in a real life event for the first time. I was super impressed. And I think it's not only her skills that are speaking for herself, but also her leadership, really inspiring, I think, for a lot of us. And today we are going to speak about remote work, women in gaming, and user acquisition with Pauline Berger. Hello, Pauline. Can you tell us about your professional journey and what led you to specialize in user acquisition for mobile games?
Hello, Claire, and thank you for the invite. I can't say that I ended here by chance because I did an MBA video game management in Paris. So to work in video game marketing. And after my first experience as a marketing manager with the MMORPG Ragnarok Online, I joined Pretty Simple. So this was during the era of Facebook game. So I don't know if you can remember it because it was a long time ago. But at this time, user acquisition manager didn't even exist yet at this time. And I was fortunate to learn this profession at its inception in 2013. So yeah, long time ago. And later at Addict Mobile as a user acquisition director, I truly specializing in mobile, so really mobile user acquisition. So yeah, I've been in this industry for quite a while now. And since then, I've been able to work for various gaming companies, ranging from hyper casual games to hardcore gaming. And now I work at Million Victories as lead UA.
Wow, it's a really impressive journey, high responsibilities as well. My first question that comes into my mind is how do you manage to balance your professional and personal life, especially with the responsibility you have as a consultant, but also senior position, ex-director, and I mean, I think you are super inspiring into this. So can you share a bit more?
Yeah, so for me, it's obvious because I'm a mother, I'm a wife, daughter, sister, friend, and I'm this before being an employee or freelancer. So I always prioritize my personal life. I think because my own history. So my father worked extensively and never counted his hours. So it's suffering his first heart attack when I was only 12. And this deeply impacted me. So I vowed never repeat his mistake. And therefore, when choosing company, it's crucial to that my boss understands that while I'm at work, I dedicate myself 100% to my task and strive to do them as well as possible, of course. However, it's non-negotiable that I'm not to be disturbed outside of work hours. And this is particularly not worthy because Million Victories is really the most caring and human company I had a chance to work with in the gaming industry. Because it's pretty rare and they really care about their employees, and that's why I'm proud to work for such company right now.
Thank you for sharing. And I think it tells a lot about them as well to have a leader like you. I think it's really inspiring also to speak about it because not a lot of people are speaking about this. And I saw a lot of bad practice. I think work-life balance, you can't have any success without it. And some people sometimes tend to forget it. And you know, we stay human at the end of the day. We need also to take care of ourselves. And it actually leads me to the next question because all those work-life balance topics really came out of COVID, where you know a lot of companies had to think about remote work, and you have a significant experience with remote work. How did you find this transition? What challenge did you encounter, especially with this setup?
Yeah, indeed. I've been working remotely since 2016, so before COVID period, which makes it 8 years now. And I personally grew up in the countryside, so I couldn't envision a family life in Paris or in a big city. So it was clear for me that I wouldn't stay there for long. And after leaving Ubisoft, my partner and I decided it was the right time to move off Paris. So I began a remote for a startup from Aix-en-Provence, and also returned to work for Addict Mobile. And I would say about challenge, there is two main challenges with remote work. The first is, it's obvious, but the lack of proximity with the rest of the team when you're part of the team that works in person. It's inevitably a huge difference in how teams members are treated and in the affinity that develop among them. And the second challenge is limited availability, sorry, for a remote position, which can slow down career progression, of course. I have received several attractive job offers, but they were based in Paris or at best offer hybrid management. But for me, it wasn't even a question to consider. And statistically, promotion are more often given to those who work on site, with a remote worker less frequently considered for that. So that's the reality, unfortunately.
Yes, I'm glad we are bringing this up because numbers are actually speaking by themselves, which I think, like is really unfair. And especially as the market gets globalized, in my opinion, like you need to be more open to more talents. And also this is how you are growing by also reaching remotely, high talent, and better is the setup. I think better it is as well. So, um, those challenges, so we spoke about it. Basically, sometimes people are speaking at the coffee machine and won't include you. Or, for instance, like your colleague that is at the office will be promoted faster than you are sometimes. So, do you have any advice for those starting to work remotely or for companies looking to improve their management of remote work to avoid all of those topics?
Yeah, so first, in terms of tool, of course, I would consider the use of Slack or a similar platform. I mean, I'm not in front of Slack, but to be essential, and companies should encourage to excel the written communication. But it's surprising how much information is still relayed verbally today. For new remote worker, I would advise to dedicating a specific area at home for remote. So, for example, here it's my office, and I know that in this, so yeah, here I work. I know, but just behind the door, it's over. And at the same time, so it's important to establish also set work hours, just as if you were in the office. It's easy to get overwhelmed and end up working more if you were on site. That's why it's crucial to define clear boundaries for both space and time. And for company, they need to stop micromanaging. I guess it's not it's not a big surprise, but trust your team and focus on project outcomes rather than counting hours worked. The quality of your employee, of a person, do not depend on their workplace or home location. And yeah, treat remote employee the same as those who come into the office.
100%. I think productivity here is a keyword. Like Nordics, I'm thinking about Finland is one, I think, of the country where they're working the least. And actually, from what I see, there is quite a good game. So maybe some good example for US and other countries as well. From now, I would like to speak more about women. So we spoke about remote and its challenge. Women in gaming, it's something you've been super active, and I'm really excited also to touch base on this topic on this podcast. As a woman in leadership position within the gaming industry, how do you perceive the evolution of women's role in this sector?
So over the past 10 years, I would say the trend has been quite positive. So it's pretty cool. Around me, I see more and more women entering in this industry. So this is excellent news for company and consumers, especially considering that 48% of video game players are women. So it's absolutely essential that we are represented in this area.
48%, it's massive. It's massive. Is it the same in your games or more?
No,
Okay.
no, because it's a more hardcore game. So yeah, it's mainly men.
Okay, I mean that's great. Still, we have some good example with the puzzle category and Royal Match, for instance, being one of those billion-dollar game with a fairly woman audience. Same for Merge Mansion. I mean, I think like the example are quite big. So, what initiative or changing would you like to see to encourage and support more women in the gaming industry?
So, as a woman in this industry, it's important that we go into university or even high school to talk about our experience and show that it's possible. There is no barrier. And if you love this industry, then you should definitely go for it. And it's also important to support initiative like the one you are undertaking right now, highlighting other women in the sector. And this can be done through, of course, LinkedIn with like and reposts, but also through direct networking or advice or job opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm actually loving seeing you as a speaker. I saw you first at AppCo Summit Paris, and from far my favorite speaker of the event. So more representation, and I think it goes even beyond the representation because it's not only it's a woman, she's talented, she's good, and actually like let's speak up, let's show like all the knowledge that you have, and I'm really glad that today you are on this podcast also to share your experience and this.
You're
So
too cute. Thank you.
I mean, of course, I have a really high opinion on you, and I think like you've been one of the pioneer, and you are still of making change happen. So I really appreciate this. Have you encountered any gender-related obstacle during your career, and if so, how did you overcome it?
So of course I have encountered a sexist joke, but I wouldn't say being a woman has been a real obstacle. However, being a mother was. Company are really afraid of maternity leave. A few months of absence seems too difficult to manage for them. I don't know. Beyond that, even after pregnancy, I mean, during my job interviews, I was very clear that outside my job, my working hours, I wouldn't be available because I had two babies to care at home. This should seems normal, but I know that it has deterred some companies that were trying to recruit me because I told them this. So beyond gender, I think the true obstacle for me was maternity.
Yes, and it's really sad, honestly, that some companies are not helping on this. Really sad to say it's something I saw as well. Someone going on leave, just not finding the same position. I think in France, legally, you need to find something like the same levels, but they don't have to give you back exactly the same one, which I feel is quite a shame, to be honest. And more we are going to speak up about it, I think more it's going to change. Share your experience and also speak about those companies actually having those practice. There is no reason why it shouldn't happen. I mean, it's. I'm really sorry this happened, to be honest, and I'm really hopeful that it's going to change because new leaders are coming, doing the business, and I'm really happy that now you are in a position in a company actually caring, and this is the most important. And about caring, you have been caring a lot, and you have been a mentor for a lot of companies actually as a consultant as well. Um, how do you what do you consider the most important aspect of trainings, for instance, on user acquisition? Because this is changing so much. Like, how do you train someone?
So on one hand, I want to teach them the basics, so how to run campaign, optimization, creative targeting, and how to interpret data to optimize. But on the other hand, I want to convey that each app is different. And therefore, the user acquisition strategy for one will necessarily differ from another. So it's important to understand this from the beginning. Otherwise, you may read article, post, or listen podcast, and think you can just copy someone else's strategy. But in reality, one strategy will be totally different from another because onboarding, retention, virality, monetization, design, targeting, so much parameters, and no two apps are alike, and so their UA will differ. So you must continuously test and adapt your UA and your strategy. There is no magic recipe. That's the main the main key you have to understand. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here, or at least our job would be much simpler.
Agreed. There is no one recipe. You need to have the basis. You need to understand the standard, so you can craft actually your own. And I think this is also important for all the small studio at the end of the day to, like before saying, I want to spend 1 million to understand how do you get this. It's a journey, right? So I think your approach is really good on this sense and totally aligned. And you actually made a lot of those mentorship, in your consulting journey, but also in agency. Like I think agency is where you see the most different technique things, and it's actually a really good playground, to see different things and diversity on ways of doing this. So overall, what role has mentorship played in your career, and how do you contribute to the training of new generation of professionals, for instance, in your field?
I've always enjoyed sharing my knowledge about UA. So I started working in UA in 2013, so when the term was barely known in France, and I was fortunate enough to teach it early, both in private schools, so like Institute of Internet and Multimedia in Paris, or ISART school, and also to intern and junior when I was at Addict Mobile, so an agency. And today it brings me joy to see my former UA interns holding significant position across the gaming industry at company like Vodou or Bandai Namco, as well outside gaming. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see that today. I'm like a grandma watching little kids.
A real sensei. I love this. This is great. Actually, we saw some at the event we were together. I think quite a few people benefited from your UA tips. So it's quite cool. I hope one day you also make me a little training so I can level up. We will come. It will come. Another session.
With great pleasure.
Okay, last but not least, Pauline, and it has been a real joy to have you with us. But what advice would you give to young professionals, especially young women who wish to enter the field of marketing and user acquisition for mobile games?
So in terms of skills, I would advise to focus on everything related to technical aspects because it taking more and more in our field data and also creativity. I consider that there is three elements to be the foundation of our job today. However, even if you are in the user acquisition, it's really crucial to always keep the big picture of the product in mind. So we are like the gateway into the mobile game, but we have to understand the retention, the monetization of the app to do our job correctly. So yeah. And this is in terms of skill, and in terms of soft skill perspective, I would say I would advise working on self-confidence, because I see it often around me. Women frequently experience imposter syndrome, which can hinder our career. So, and I include myself in this. It's not always easy to assert oneself and feel confident in a world mainly dominated by men. Yeah.
It's important to point this because I see it's so often, like women working twice more, to prove themselves, when I think, you the first, you are definitely not an imposter. I think I'm not biased at all. And I think, like you need to trust yourself. And having those discussion as well, when we are speaking about it, showing that it's something we all feel, and, being open about it, I think is helping all the community. So thank you so much, Pauline, for sharing. Any exciting news you want to share about anything? Holidays, game, new things coming?
I will celebrate my 10 years with my husband. So we will go to Korea, just us without kids.
Oh la
So
la,
I'm super exciting.
oh no, South Korea. So I mean, I understand. Like South Korea is massive for games. Like tell us if you see some good art there, so we can get some inspiration. And congratulations as well for your 10 years. It's a real example. It was a blast to have you in our Rzain society. And reach out to Pauline. She's the best. If you need anything, follow her advice. Focus on creative data, be also a good human with soft skills, and also trust yourself. I really love this podcast. Thank you so much, Pauline, and have a good day.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you.